I have to tell you that, I wasn't really bothered by the animations. Like myself, I didn't have many issues with the performance. I usually had some fixes and hacks, that I applied from time to time. What was a bigger problem to me personally was this static API. So in other words, I was unable to control the appearance of my header, for example, from within the component. And so that was a big problem for me. And I know community was also suffering from that. Was there any development in that area as well within React Navigation v5?
Yeah, that was a very like big issue and a very requested feature to have dynamic API. Because of the static API, you could not use themes. You could not do dynamic translations. It had a lot of limitations, which means you could not do what you wanted to do. So with the static API and the static architecture, it wasn't easy to just change it to dynamic architecture because it was a fundamental implementation issue. So what we had to do, we had to rewrite everything. Yeah, rewrites are probably not the best, but in this scenario, there was no other options because the fundamentals of the navigation library was tied to static API. So with React Navigation 5, we focused on this dynamically configuration problem, and we rewrote the navigation, and we built a new component-based dynamic API. So instead of providing an object which is called at the top of the JavaScript file, now you render components and provide configuration via components, which is very useful because since everything is component, you can just use normal React state to control which screens are rendered. So you could fetch a list of screens from your server, for example, and show a list of tabs using that fetched list. And you could also dynamically update the header. You can translate everything based on a value in the context. You can apply themes. And yeah, we also have native support for themes, but yeah, it is a new possibility offered to us by dynamic approach. So yeah, React Navigation 5 was a complete rewrite focusing on dynamical configuration, and we really wanted to solve this problem that community had, and I think we delivered, and I'm very proud of that.
Okay, thank you, Satya, for answering this. Actually, when you were answering, I just reminded myself that I do remember your talk at React Native EU with Osadnik, which is a friend of all of us, I guess, who's been working with you on React Navigation, and you had this nice slide where you demonstrated how static API was changing to components. And when I saw it for the first time, I didn't really know what was about to happen. I was like, how is this possible because of those fundamental problems that you said? So I'm really excited to see this being stable and now ready for the broader use. Cool. So what do we have now? We have components based everything, and we do have whole new animations and native stacks. So what else is inside React Navigation v5 that we should be aware of? There's probably tons of it if that was a complete rewrite. So I'm curious to learn about all of these.
Well, the component-based API was the biggest one, and we also introduced some APIs to simplify updating options. For example, we have a new set options API which allows you to update the title or update the header or any options in navigators. And in addition to that, we have a new theming API. So you can just define some colors, say your brand colors, so it will be automatically used by React Navigation to implement every UI element. And so you don't have to replace every component like you had to do before. So I think that was also one very useful feature. And in React Navigation v5, we introduced a rewrite of Stack Navigator based on React Native gesture handler. which introduced a lot of new animations, and now you could change animations for every screen, and you had a new animation for model presentation animation on iOS, which was pretty cool. So yeah, that was also one big part of it. And we also had a drawer navigation based on the animated and gesture handler, which was also added in. I mean, it was not exactly in V5, but it was very close to that. Yeah. Yeah. Also, we had a new deep linking API, which is
Yay.
also cool, because now you could customize a lot of things, and you could also specify, for example, a 404 page in your app if you don't match a URL. Another thing we did is like we implemented new hook based APIs, so you can use
What was
everything in function
it?
components with hooks. You don't have to write those HOCs anymore. And we also simplified the event system, which wasn't working very well in V4, and now it's very simple. You just add event listener, and it's a familiar event based API that you are used to on web.
Nice.
So yeah, that's it.
When you said that you simplified the event emitter and the events, and now it's just simple and you were looking for the word I had in my brain, Steve Jobs saying works like magic. That's why I started laughing, but I guess that's also probably a right answer to it.
I,
Um,
I think you could
yeah,
say that for the hooks. They work like magic. Yeah.
yeah. That's actually a very, very popular opinion actually right now, I guess. Cool. So that sounds like a lot of changes, and actually, I'm like myself very excited about them. I have to say that I also struggled with, these the static API had always problem with choosing the right transition per screen. I remember, I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, was it React Navigation V5 or V4 when you reached out to me about my reason ML navigation? I guess you asked me about some of my prototyping I did there because it was
Yeah.
components. Yeah, but
Yes, I remember that. Like, I reached out to you when, like, it was still React Navigation 4, but that was just a start, and we were still working on it. And, like, I think we implemented it in the Rebolt navigation,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, that's
yeah,
how that's how it was named.
yes, and this API also gave me a lot of ideas on how we could implement that. And then we implemented in React Navigation Stack, which was released as part of React Navigation v5.
Cool. That's like I feel proud, and actually maybe this is a good moment to pass greetings to actually other people that work in the Rebuild navigation as well, and that was at least from the people I know right now, Mateusz Zatorski and Czysty, and everybody else that committed to it. It's been fun. Sadly not stable, but who knows?